I just had to let you know you're.
The way you walk, the way you understand me.
So today po, we're going to discuss the linking of metabolism of carbohydrates, lipids, and proteins. So before that, we're going to discuss po ano po ba muna yung metabolism. So metabolism is the overall set of chemical reactions sa katawan natin na kino-convert nito yung food into energy and also the building blocks. And para rin siyang malaking system that balance or help the balance ng paggamit ng nutrients na kailangan natin. And metabolism is, meron siyang dalawang main processes which is catabolism and anabolism. Yung catabolism, dito naman yung molecules that are broken down to release energy. So parang siyang fuel of our body. And anabolism naman, kung saan naman yung molecules are built for growth and repair. So para siyang nag-help to construct and work yung sa katawan natin. And mahalaga yung metabolism kasi ito yung nagbibigay ng ATP or energy para rin lahat gumana yung body function natin. And also it ensure na may balance yung paggamit ng nutrients natin. So yung nutrients natin is carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. So yung carbohydrates is para siya for quick energy natin. And so fats naman is for our long-term storage. And for protein naman is para naman siya sa structural and functional rules. And yung metabolism natin is important kasi siya yung nagbibigay ng ATP or yung energy which is helps para lahat gumana ng ating cellular activities mula muscle contraction hanggang brain function. And without proper metabolism, hindi rin nagkakaroon ng magandang supply of energy ang ating katawan, leading to weakness or pagkahina ng ating function. And bukod din sa energy or ATP, metabolism also support growth, repair, and maintenance na ating tissues. It also helps balance na yung nutrients that I already discussed. And yun nga, sa madaling salita, metabolism keeps the body running smoothly by making sure each nutrients is used in the right way. So now let's discuss the linking of metabolism of protein, carbohydrates, and lipids by my members.
When we talk about carbohydrates, most people immediately think of bread, pasta, or sugar. But from a biological standpoint, especially when looking at the slide, carbohydrate, they are essentially the body's primary fuel source. Think of them as the gasoline for your cells and your brain. Beyond just providing energy, they play a huge role in sparing protein, which basically means that if you have enough carbs, your body doesn't have to break down on its own muscle tissue for fuel. Plus, they support digestion through fiber and help keep your overall health in check. The real magic happens during carbohydrate metabolism. As noted in the lower half, this process is vital because it breaks those sugars and starches down into glucose. Glucose is the currency of energy in the body. It powers everything from your heartbeat to your thoughts. If you have extra glucose that you aren't using right away, your body is smart enough to store it as glycogen in your liver and muscles for later use. So also step by step through the energy pathway. If you look at the flow chart in carbohydrate metabolism, you can see the actual roadmap of how carb becomes energy. Glycolysis. Glucose is broken down into pyruvate. Then we have conversion. That pyruvate turns into acetyl-CoA. The citric acid cycle. This is where things really ramp up to prep for the final energy payoff. And then we have the ATCOPH2 ATP. This is the finish line where the body produces ATP, which is the actual energy molecule our cells spend to function. And then we have the regulation and storage. The body is all about balance or homeostasis. Regulation and storage. The body is all about balance or homeostasis. As shown in carbohydrates metabolism, ensures your blood sugar levels stay steady. This is especially critical for your brain and red blood cells because they rely almost exclusively on glucose to work. But what happens if you eat way more carbs than your glycogen storage tanks can hold? As the final point mentions that excess glucose eventually gets converted into fat for long-term storage. So to wrap it up, carbs are organic compounds that serve as our main energy source. Then metabolism is the process of turning that fuel into ATP through a specific sequence of chemical reactions like glycolysis and the citric acid cycle. Storage happens as glycogen for a quick burst of energy or as fat if there's a significant surplus.
Lipids. Lipids are organic compounds such as fats, oils, and steroids that are insoluble in water but serve vital roles in the body. They act as the most concentrated energy source, form cell membranes, and function as hormones and signaling molecules. Lipid metabolism is important because it gives the body long-term energy and produces more energy than carbohydrates or proteins. It also helps during fasting by making ketone bodies that the brain and muscle can use. In addition, it supports cell membranes hormone production and protects organs through insulation.
Hi everyone! Today, ang pag-uusapan natin ay lipid metabolism. Don't worry, this is simple. Parang kwento lang kung paano ginagamit ng katawan ng ating taba para maging energy. First, ano ba ang lipids? Ang lipids ay fats sa taba na nakukuha natin sa pagkain tulad ng fries, meat, butter, at nuts. Hindi lang natin sila pinapataba. Importante rin sila sa ating katawan. Kapag hindi agad kailangan ng katawan ng energy, ini-store niya ang fats sa adipose tissue or body fat. Para siyang energy bank account. Ngayon, paano nagiging energy ang fats? Una, ang triglycerides or stored fats ay dumadaan sa process na tinatawag na lipolysis. Dito, hinahati ang fats into glycerol at fatty acids. Yung glycerol pumapasok sa process na tinatawag na glycolysis hanggang maging pyruvate tapos magiging acetyl-CoA. Parang dadaan siya sa maraming steps bago maging usable energy. Yung fatty acids naman dumadaan sa beta-oxidation. Medyo mahaba pakinggan pero ibig sabihin lang nito ay hinihiwa-hiwa ang fatty acids para maging acetyl. Kapag may acetyl na papasok ito sa TCA cycle or energy factor ng cells natin para gumawa ng ATP or energy. Ang ATP parang battery or fuel ng katawan. Bakit importante ang lipids? Una, nagbibigay sila ng pinakamataas na energy around 9 calorie per gram. Kaya super lakas ng kanilang source of energy. Pangalawa, kapag gutom tayo o matagal din kumakain, gumagawa ang katawan ng ketone bodies mula sa fats para may backup energy ang brain at katawan. At
hindi lang energy ang role ng fats, tumutulong din sila sa paggawa ng cell membranes, hormones, at nagbibigay ng insulation at protection sa organs. Parang cushion ng katawan. So in short, ang lipids metabolism ay proseso kung paano i-restore na nag-breakdown at ginagamit ng katawan natin ang fats para magkaroon tayo ng energy at protection. Thank you for listening!
So let's talk about the proteins. No, ito po yung mga large molecules that is made of chain of amino acids. So yung tinatawag natin na building blocks of the body. No, so from your muscles to your enzymes, hormones, or kahit na yung mga antibodies that fight the diseases. So lahat po ng mga yon is made of protein. So kaya naman essential sila for tissue repair and overall growth. So, punta naman tayo sa metabolism part. So, as you can see on the slide dito sa presentation, yung protein metabolism is how our body uses or breaks down and recycle these molecules. So, kapag kumain tayo ng meat, ng beans or ng eggs, na which is sila yung mga dietary proteins, no, hindi sila agad nagagamit ng katawan as is. So they are first digested and broken down into their simplest form, yung amino acids. So once na pumasok sila sa bloodstream natin, yung katawan natin is magiging parang construction site. Gagamitin ng mga amino acids na ito to build a new tissues, mga enzymes and hormones. So sa madaling salita, nire-repurpose nila yung body natin kung saan natin sila kailangan. So, paano naman if mangyari yung sobrang daming protein, no? Unlike sa fats and carbs. So, our body doesn't have a specialized tinatawag natin amino acid pool, no, for extra amino acids. So, we have to go through a process called deamination. So, itong deamination naman, yung tinatanggal yung amino group. So, nagre-resulta ito ng production of ammonia. Now, which, to be honest, is yung very toxic sa ating system. So, para hindi tayo malasan ng ganon, now our liver quickly converts the toxic ammonia into urea. So, which is then safely excreted or nilalabas natin sa pag-ihi o yung urine. So, this is the body's way of removing toxic nitrogen in a safely way. So, here's the exciting part of this topic, no? Na kung saan yung lahat is nakalinks together. Now, after the nitrogen is removed, we are left with what we call the carbon skeleton. So, itong carbon skeleton na to, we can actually enter the glycolysis or yung tinatawag na TCA cycle, yung also known as the Krebs cycle. So, yung ibig sabihin ng proteins na to is can be used to produce the ATP or yung energy, no? Especially yung when the carbohydrates o yung mga fats is or are insufficient or kapag nagkukulang na tayo sa ibang mga energy sources. So, if the body already has enough energy, yung mga skeletons na to can even convert it into glucose or fat for storage. So, para sa conclusion ng topic na to, yung protein metabolism is very important because it's not just about building muscles, it's about keeping us alive through repair, enzyme production, and providing a backup energy source. So, it's a perfect system that builds what we need and safely flushes out what we don't. So, and that's how the journey of protein in our metabolism. Thank you.
In this slide, explains the linking pathway kung paano i-breakdown ng katawan ng carbohydrates, fats, at proteins para makagawa ng energy. The main idea, kahit magkakaiba ang proseso nila sa simula, lahat sila eventually naging acetyl-CoA na pumapasok sa Krebs cycle para makagawa ng adenosine triphosphate, which is the main energy source of the cell. Per fatways, carbohydrates, ang glucose dumadaan sa glycolysis, magiging pyruvate, then converted to acetyl-CoA. For lipids naman po, ang triglycerides nahati into fatty acid, then through oxidation, nagiging acetyl-CoA siya. And for the protein, ang amino acid dumadaan sa deamination tinatanggal ang nitrogen, then the remaining carbon skeleton became acetyl-CoA. For the key points, lahat ng carbohydrates, fats, at proteins na nako-convert sa acetyl-CoA, kaya siya ang tinatawag na central hub of energy metabolism.
In clinical application, carbohydrates, lipids, and proteins are important nutrients needed by the body for energy, growth, and repair. In clinical settings, nurses and healthcare workers monitors these nutrients because imbalance can affect the patient health and recovery. While the carbohydrates is the body's main source of energy, patient with low carbohydrates intake may experience weakness, fatigue, and low blood sugar. In diabetic patient, too much carbohydrate intake can increase blood glucose level, so proper diet management is important. Now, let's proceed with lipids. Lipids or fats serves as storage energy, help protect organs, and assist in absorbing fat soluble vitamins. However, excessive lipids intake may lead to obesity, hypertension, and cardiovascular diseases. Patients with high cholesterol are often advised to reduce saturated fats and eat healthier foods choices. On the other hand, patients who are malnourished may need adequate health fats to maintain body function and energy. Now, let's proceed to protein. Protein are essential for tissue and growth, repair, and immune function. In hospitals, patients recovering from surgery, wounds, and illness are encouraged to eat protein-rich food to promote healing. Protein deficiency may cause muscle wasting, poor wound healing, and weakness. Nurses assess the patient nutritional status to ensure they receive enough protein, carbohydrates, and lipids for faster recovery and better overall health. So, that's the quick explanation about the carbohydrates, lipids, and protein in clinical application.